Good morning. Today is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020. There is a very frightening passage in this week's Parsha. The Torah starts by saying, V'haya im shamoa tishma b'kol Hashem elokecha, and it shall be, if you listen to Hashem's commandments and fulfill His commandments, then all kinds of wonderful things will happen. Blessing and beautiful and wonderful, all good things are going to happen. V'haya im lo tishma b'kol Hashem elokecha, but if you do not listen to the commands of Hashem and you do not follow Hashem's mitzvos, then things are going to be very rough. And this part of the passage is longer and more dramatic than the first part. It's quite graphic. And the really frightening thing is every single prediction in this Parsha has actually come to pass and befallen the Jewish people just in the past century. But there's one pasuk that seems to have a difficulty in it that I'd like to share with you. As part of the terrible times that we will face if we do not listen to Hashem's commandments, the Torah says, V'hayisa m'mashesh batzaroyim, you will grope around, you will fumble around in broad daylight. Kasher yemashesh ha'iver ba'afela, just like a person who is blind gropes and stumbles in the darkness. V'lo satzliach es derachecha, and you will not be successful in finding your way. It's a very frightening prophecy, prediction, and it's something that has happened to us. And in a certain sense, it is something that seems to be happening to us right now. But there's a word in the pasuk that's a little hard to understand. So the idea is we're going to be stumbling around, groping around like a person who is blind. A person who is blind is a person who cannot see. Now, a person who cannot see at night and cannot see during the day. They cannot see. That's what it means to be blind. Why does the Torah say, V'hayisa m'mashesh batzaroyim, you will stumble around in the daytime, kasher yemashesh ha'iver ba'afela, like a person who is blind stumbles in the darkness? A person who is blind will stumble whether it's dark or light, because they can't see in any event. So why does the Torah say a person who is blind is like stumbling in the darkness? For a person who's blind, it's always dark. So the Talmud asks this question. The Gemara says in Masechta Megillah as follows. Amar Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says as follows. Kol yomai mitzta'er al mikrazeh. My whole life I was in pain over this pasuk. It's a very powerful phrase. It's not just I didn't understand it, I was bothered by it, I couldn't come up with an answer, but mitzta'er means I was in pain. I was unable to rest. Kol yamai. This is what he thought about every single day. Vayisa m'mashesh batzaroyim kasher yemashesh ha'iver ba'afela v'chi ma'ipchas le'iver bein afela la'ora. What is the difference for a person who is blind, whether it's daytime or nighttime? They can't see in any event. That's our question. Ad sheba ma'aseh liyadi, Rabbi Yossi says, until the following story happened to me. Pamachas, hayisi mahalach be'ishon laila va'afela. It happened once that I was walking, of course Rabbi Yossi could see, fine, normally. I was walking once at night and it was very dark. V'ra'isi suma, and I saw another person who I know is blind. Shohayimahalek baderech, he was also walking at night in the dark. Va'avuka biyado, but he was holding a torch. Amarti lo, so I said to this person who was blind, I said, B'ni, my son, avuka zu lamalach, why are you carrying a torch? If you're blind, you're not able to see. The torch is not helping you to see. Why are you walking with a torch at night? Amrali, he said to me, Kolzman shavuka biyadi, as long as I am carrying a torch at night when it's dark, B'nei Adam ro'enosi, others will notice me. Umatzilenosi min hapchasim umin hakotzim umin habarkonim, and others who see me will save me. They will protect me from getting hurt by falling into a ditch, by getting caught on thorns, by getting caught on other sharp things. So I'm carrying the torch not because I need it to see. I can't see whether I have a torch or not. I'm carrying a torch so that others will be able to help me. Now, this is very good advice with practical consequences. The Sefer Torah Temimah has the following two halachic consequences of this story. Number one of the brachos that we say in our prayers, in our davening every morning, we say, Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed are you, God. Yotzer Or, you create light. Let me ask you a question. A person who is blind, is that person allowed to recite that bracha? They're not able to see any light. How can they bless God and thank God for creating light if they don't benefit from it, if they don't see it? It's like making a bracha on sweet smelling spices if I'm not smelling anything that is sweet. How could one make that bracha? Says the Torah Temimah, yes. A person who is blind makes the bracha to thank God for creating light, because even though I can't see it, but the fact that there is light will help others to be able to help me. So I can say the bracha, I thank God for creating light, even if I myself can't see it, but I can benefit from it because others can use the light to help me. Similarly, there's an interesting halacha. There's a halacha that goes like this. If a person, God forbid, is sick, let's say it's Shabbos, so the laws of Shabbos are set aside if a person is seriously sick, including, says the Gemara, lighting a fire, turning on a light, and it applies today, turning on electric light. God forbid a person, let's say it's Shabbos or Yom Tov, and let's say a person is in bed at night, the room is dark, and let's say a person is sick, they're worried, God forbid something is wrong. Of course, they're allowed to turn on the light to be able to see what they need to see and to be able to help the person. Those laws of Shabbos and Yom Tov are set aside. What if the person is blind? If the person is blind, are they allowed to turn on a light on Shabbos if they themselves are sick? The answer is yes, because the reason for turning on the light is not just that I should be able to see the person who is sick, it's that somebody else should be able to see to be able to help me. So even though I am blind and I can't see, and turning on the light makes no difference for me, but it makes a big difference in others being able to help me. So therefore, I could turn on the light on Shabbos even under those circumstances. Okay, that's a practical halachic application of this principle. But Rabbi J.J. Schachter points out that it's also a wider lesson that applies to every single one of us, especially now. Many of us are stumbling. Many of us are unable to see how to help ourselves. We're unable to see how to protect our health. We're unable to see how to care for our children. Many of us are unable to see how we're going to financially support ourselves. We are unable to see where we're going and how we'll get there. But the truth is, there is light. There is help. There is assistance. There is advice. There is support. We have to accept that help. And if necessary, we have to solicit that help. The light exists, and it can benefit us even if we ourselves don't see it right now. Even if we can't see it, the light that is there can still illuminate our path with the help of others. And if we ourselves have light, any kind of light, material, emotional, spiritual, if we have some kind of light, then we need to use it to warn, to help, to support, and to protect those who need it. The lesson from our Parsha, based on this story of Rav Yossi, is so applicable to every one of us. Even if we're in the dark, there is light, and we need to find others who can help us with the light that exists even when we do not see it. My friends, I want to wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing all of you soon in person.